to the Sangam podcast.
What is Sangam?
Sangam is collaboration.
It is a platform to create awareness.
It is the culmination of identities and lived experiences.
It is empowerment,
Education.
And engagement. In this episode, we will be introducing ourselves.
Welcome to our podcast.
Namaskaram, Vanakkam, and greetings to all our listeners. 2020 has been a challenge. No matter how much we start and work through it, we seem to be stagnant and placed exactly where we all started. Having said that, I have great hope that we will all heal in 2021 and come out brilliantly this year. Although this podcast will be primarily in English, ഇവിടെ മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കാം, തമിഴിലും പേശലാം, ataupun kita boleh berbahasa Malaysia dan Indonesia. So we are very pleased to announce our first episode through Sangam, the introduction. My name is Geeta, and before I proceed, let me take this opportunity to thank the traditional custodians of the land where I live and work on. I will be part of this wonderful team of Bala and Salvin in curating some of the topics, be it LGBTQ, global issues, or the infamous Trump, which ironically lost access to his Twitter account as we are recording this. With everything that's going around us, all the challenges and great surprises that we experience in our daily lives, I thought what better way it is than to share them among my dear friends and listeners. For those who aren't familiar with me, I would say I keep to myself most of the time, so I'll definitely be using this platform and sharing a little more about me. To start with, I'm a trans woman. I transitioned about 10 years ago, and with the support of great friends, family, and recently yoga, I think I'm living a life full of contentment and joy, accepting everything the way it is meant to be. One of my biggest challenges when I first transitioned was not only to understand the way my body responds after hormonal therapy, but the difficulty that others had in accepting a trans person in their lives. I am hoping Sangam will help bridge the link between a few of us in the trans community and beyond. When I'm not practicing yoga or coding software at work, I take portraits, write, read, watch endless episodes of shows, and listen to a variety of podcasts.
Good day and Vanakkam. Andarki Subhakankshalu, Ellarigu Subhashayagalu. My name is Bala. I live on Gadigal land of Eora Nation. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land. I pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm gay. I was born in Chennai, the capital city of the southernmost state of India, Tamil Nadu. I grew up speaking Tamil as my first language of home. Growing up as a queer person in a conservative Tamil society was not easy. It took years for me to accept myself, but I got there in the end thanks to my family and friends who have been very supportive. As a shy, closeted gay man, going through a bad breakup, I came to Australia in my mid-20s back in 2014. I fell in love again, this time not with a man, but with the city of Sydney. I lived in Parramatta, of course, and eastern suburbs before moving to inner west, where I've been living for the past 2 years now. All my family, including my cute nephew, live back in Chennai. I'm waiting for this pandemic to be over and for the international travel restrictions to be safely lifted to be able to travel back to my hometown and see my family. This pandemic made me realize how difficult it is to be all by yourself away from family. I'm happily single and I work in finance. If I'm not home watching a doco or a movie on Netflix, I'm probably out for a run or trying to focus on completing the book I'm writing, which is in Tamil by the way. When the idea of starting a podcast came to my mind, I asked myself this question. Is another podcast required while there are so many wonderful LGBTIQA+ podcasts out there doing the important work so successfully? But I found myself whinging about the lack of voices from southern India and the rest of South Asia, and the lack of representation of queer achievements and issues from these regions. So, by starting this podcast, I want to amplify these voices. I not only want to address these issues, but also explore queer experiences from around the world. I want to strike a balance and do podcasts in English and Tamil where possible. We welcome everyone to join us on this journey towards inclusion as we learn and grow together. Nandri.
Namaskaram, kaise hai, and Nisam Bulavinaka. My name is Selvin, and I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I live and work. Thank you for sharing with us your immense knowledge on how to care for this country. I also extend this acknowledgement and appreciation to the people of Bitongo village, Lautoka, in Fiji, where I was born and brought up. I am Indo-Fijian, a descendant of Tamil Girmatiers who came to Fiji from Madras in 1915 as indentured labourers and called it home. In 2013, I migrated to Australia and am currently a social worker where I support young, newly arrived migrants, asylum seekers, and refugees in their journeys of settlement in Australia. I enjoy writing poetry and self-published my first children's storybook in 2020 called Fiji Bag and plan to have its sequel out by mid-2021. I co-founded a closed social group on Facebook called Global Queer People of Fiji, focusing on reducing isolation and increasing connections for LGBTIQA+ people from Fiji. When it comes to the queer space, the turning point in my life was 2015 when I told my parents that I am gay. Since then, I have appeared in training videos and participated in ending HIV campaigns for ACON. In November 2019, I performed How My Brown Family Reacted to My Gay Wedding at Queer Stories, after which I received many beautiful messages from people telling me that they felt they could use my example to start a meaningful conversation. By being a part of Sangam, I hope to amplify the voices of queer people of colour and educate those who are yet to understand what being LGBTIQA+ really means in communities where we are underrepresented.